This is not the kind of story that explodes across social media overnight. Yet it carries a depth and importance that remains long after the final words are heard. It is not a discussion about chart rankings, touring achievements, or commercial partnerships. Even though all of those have been part of Park Jimin's remarkable journey throughout 2026. At its core, this story is about artistic authenticity. It is about what truly unfolds during the creation of music. It is about the person who introduces the element that elevates a song from being strong to becoming flawless. And it is about what it means when that individual is not listed in the official credits, yet receives public acknowledgement from one of the most respected producers in the international music industry. That producer is Diplo. For anyone familiar with modern music, Diplo is a name that carries significant weight. He is not a marginal figure working within a single genre or limited audience. He stands among the most accomplished, adaptable, and influential producers in contemporary music. His career spans decades, styles, and countries. He has collaborated with Beyoncé, MIA, Major Lazer, Bad Bunny, Skrillex, and numerous artists operating at the highest level of their respective fields. He has earned Grammy nominations and Grammy victories. Throughout multiple eras of popular music, he has played a major role in shaping the sounds audiences recognize today. His reputation comes not simply from fame, but from a proven record of creative excellence. When Diplo offers an opinion about music, professionals pay attention because his perspective is backed by years of demonstrated expertise. In an interview published by Billboard, a publication widely regarded as a leading voice within the American music industry, Diplo made a statement regarding Park Jimin and a track titled "Into the Sunday." The significance of that statement deserves careful attention. According to Diplo, Jimin served as the inspiration behind the song. He recalled a particular moment during its development when Jimin performed the track over a guitar passage featuring a specific type of distortion. He also described how everyone present reacted instantly. The response was immediate and unanimous. The room felt that the song had become completely perfect. Not merely stronger, not simply improved, completely perfect. That was the exact term Diplo selected. And it was a choice made by someone whose profession depends on evaluating musical quality with precision. What makes the story even more noteworthy is an additional detail. Jimin's name does not appear among the official credits for Into the Sunday. Yet the contribution Diplo described, the contribution he identified as the factor that made the song completely perfect, is the same contribution that multiple producers have publicly recognized as essential to the track's final form. The inspiration that those producers acknowledged is absent from the formal documentation of who created the song. To understand why Diplo's comments matter, it is necessary to consider the broader context surrounding them. Into the Sun is one of the songs featured on BTS's fifth album, Ararang. The album represents the group's return to recording and performing together following the period of military service that separated the members and left ARMY waiting through years of absence. For many people connected to BTS, Ararang carries substantial emotional and cultural significance. It functions as a reunion, a declaration, and the beginning of a new chapter in a story that has unfolded across 13 years. Within that album, Into the Sun possesses a distinctive emotional character. It is one of the songs listeners continue revisiting. There is something in the experience of hearing it that is difficult to describe, yet impossible to miss. This brings attention to an important question. What does it mean when a vocalist is described as the inspiration behind a song? The wording itself deserves examination. Traditional views of pop music creation often divide responsibilities into separate categories. Producers and songwriters build the musical and structural foundation. Performers and vocalists present that work to audiences. While reality is often more complicated than that distinction suggests, those categories commonly shape how credits are assigned and how creative work is officially recognized. When Diplo referred to Jimin as the inspiration behind Into the Sun, he was not speaking in the language normally used for performers. He was using terminology associated with creation. Inspiration is not a performance designation. It is connected to the origin of an artistic idea. It points toward the source of the creative force that influenced what the song ultimately became. When a producer with Diplo's experience and standing applies that description to Jimin's involvement in Into the Sun, he is making a statement about the nature of Jimin's contribution. The implication places that contribution within the realm of creative authorship. The most intriguing element of the story lies in the specific detail involving the guitar passage and its distortion. That moment offers a clearer picture of what Jimin's contribution may have been and why it produced such a powerful effect on everyone present during the creation process. When Diplo spoke about Jimin singing over, or alongside, a guitar passage set with a particular distortion effect, he was describing a decision tied directly to the connection between the vocal line and the instrumental texture. That connection matters deeply. The way a voice exists above, inside, or in contrast to the sonic qualities of the instruments around it is one of the foundational aspects of both songwriting and production. A vocal performance that clashes with the instrumentation creates one result. A vocal that aligns perfectly with it, occupying the same emotional and sonic territory, creates another entirely. Very often, that distinction determines whether a song succeeds or falls short. The choice becomes even more significant when distortion is involved. Distortion carries emotional intensity. It is associated with urgency, force, and raw expression. The interaction between a vocal and that type of sound influences the overall emotional identity of the entire track. When Jimin made that creative decision, or when his unique vocal approach combined with that guitar line in a way that immediately convinced everyone present that the song had become completely perfect, he was doing more than interpreting existing material. He was contributing a compositional solution. He discovered the missing element that the producers had been searching for throughout the development of the track. Equally important was the reaction inside the studio. The instant agreement among everyone present, the shared realization that something had finally fallen into place, represents one of the clearest forms of recognition a creative contribution can receive during the production process. When every person in the room immediately feels that a song has reached perfection, there is little uncertainty about what occurred. Something essential arrived. Everyone present recognized it at the same moment. Another detail deserves particular attention. Two producers acknowledged Jimin's contribution. That fact is central to the story. At times, it is treated as a minor detail when it deserves far greater emphasis. If only one producer publicly praised a vocalist's creative role, some observers might interpret it as generosity or professional courtesy rather than a fully considered assessment. When two producers connected to the same song independently arrive at the same conclusion, the situation becomes fundamentally different. It becomes professional consensus. It reflects a shared understanding among the individuals who participated directly in creating the track. Both producers witnessed what Jimin brought into the process. Both identified it as a defining element in the final result. Both publicly stated that conclusion. That is not an act of generosity. It is testimony. And testimony from two professional participants who were present during the creative event carries significant weight. In music production, detailed records of the creative process rarely exist beyond the completed song and the official credits attached to it. Because of that reality, first-hand accounts from the people involved are among the strongest forms of evidence available. The Billboard interview adds another dimension to the significance of these remarks. Billboard is not a casual entertainment outlet, nor is it designed primarily for fans. It serves as a trade publication for the American music industry and functions as an important historical record for that industry. When producers discuss their work with Billboard, they contribute to the documented history of how music is made. Those interviews are read by fellow producers, label executives, A&R professionals evaluating future collaborations, journalists, and historians who will eventually document the music of this era. Statements made in that setting carry professional consequences and lasting significance that casual social media comments do not possess. Diplo made his remarks about Jimin in Billboard. Those comments are now part of the public record. According to that record, Jimin served as the inspiration behind Into the Sun, and only Jimin could bring the song to the point where it felt completely perfect. The issue of credits must also be addressed directly. Avoiding that subject would ignore an important part of the story. Two producers publicly recognized Jimin's contribution to Into the Sun, yet his name does not appear within the official song credits. That circumstance has its own causes and implications. The music industry's crediting system has long struggled to fully capture every contribution made during collaborative projects. This challenge is particularly visible in areas such as vocal arrangements and the creative decisions vocalists make during recording sessions. Those choices can shape a song far beyond the simple performance of material that already exists, yet they do not always receive formal recognition as songwriting contributions. Within the Korean music industry, the situation can become even more complex. Expectations regarding the creative roles of idol performers, producers, and professional songwriters often involve conventions that do not always reflect the complete reality of the creative process. None of this changes the importance of what Diplo stated, nor does it make the situation entirely acceptable. If anything, the distance between the official credits and the testimony provided by professionals makes Diplo's acknowledgement even more valuable. His comments provide a form of historical correction that the official documentation does not. The formal record identifies Into the Sun as the work of specific credited songwriters and producers. The professional record, through Diplo's comments in Billboard, states that Park Jimin was the inspiration behind the song and that his contribution brought it to complete perfection. Both records now exist side by side, and that matters. The music loved by ARMY and by the far larger audience represented through 240,000,000,000 Spotify streams deserves to be understood as accurately as possible. The individuals responsible for creating music deserve recognition. According to the account presented here, Jimin made Into the Sun completely perfect. That statement deserves careful consideration because the phrase completely perfect carries enormous significance within this story. Repetition can sometimes reduce the impact of words, but this particular expression should not lose its weight. Completely perfect is not the vocabulary of simple approval. It is not the language of routine professional politeness. It is the description an artist uses when encountering something that has fully realized its purpose, reached its highest form, and no longer requires improvement. When a producer with Diplo's level of experience and expectations uses those words to describe the moment Jimin's contribution reached everyone in the studio, he is referring to one of the rarest occurrences in any creative environment. It is the instant when a project arrives at its final form. Everyone present recognizes it at the same time. Such moments are uncommon. They occur when someone contributes something truly irreplaceable, something the work itself seemed to be waiting for, something only that particular individual could provide. According to Diplo's account, Jimin provided that element for Into the Sun during a studio session that included one of the world's most accomplished producers and at least one additional professional producer. The reaction was immediate. Everyone present felt the song had become completely perfect. This story also connects to a broader narrative regarding Jimin's creative role throughout his career. Viewed in that context, the events surrounding Into the Sun appear less like an isolated example and more like a particularly well-documented instance of a pattern that has existed throughout his professional journey. Jimin has consistently been presented as more than a performer. He has functioned as an active, creative contributor whose instincts, ideas, and artistic qualities have influenced BTS projects and his solo work in ways that official credit systems have not always fully reflected. Over the years, behind-the-scenes material has documented choreographic input connected to his work. People who have collaborated with him have repeatedly discussed his involvement in visual concepts and wardrobe presentation. There have also been vocal arrangements and creative decisions that helped transform recorded material into something different from what it would have been without his participation. All of these elements belong to the same, larger narrative. Jimin creates. He has continually created. Those who have shared creative spaces with him have recognized that reality, even when official documentation has not always captured it completely. What Diplo's testimony contributes is not an entirely new story. Instead, it serves as a vivid and highly credible confirmation of something that already existed. It introduces the perspective of an external collective. He has no institutional connection to the Korean entertainment industry and no apparent reason to provide praise beyond what he genuinely witnessed during the creative process. His statement was clear. It was delivered in a publication that the music industry takes seriously. His account describes Jimin's contribution to a collaborative work as fundamental. It presents the song as becoming what it ultimately became because of that contribution. It suggests that without Jimin, the track would not have reached the state Diplo described as completely perfect. There is another aspect worth considering. The specific contribution Diplo described reveals something about the type of artist Jimin is. The contribution was not the work of someone merely following instructions designed by others. Instead, it reflected the instincts of someone who discovered an element that other professionals involved in the project had not yet found. It required the particular qualities of Jimin's voice. It also required the creative intelligence necessary to understand how those qualities should interact with the developing material. That is the role of a collaborator. It is the role of someone who brings personal vision and creative capability into a project and changes the outcome because of it. It is the work of someone who helps make music rather than simply perform it. According to Diplo's comments in Billboard, Park Jimin makes music. The producers connected to Into the Sun said so as well. The audience response offers another perspective on the result. The song has accumulated 240,000,000 Spotify streams. Listeners continue returning to it. They replay it repeatedly. Something within the track resonates with them and encourages them to experience it again. The testimony provided by the professionals who participated in creating the song identifies the source of that element. According to their account, it came from Jimin. It came from the moment he sang over that guitar passage shaped by that specific distortion effect, and everyone present immediately felt that the song had reached complete perfection. It came from the creative ability that a globally respected producer publicly acknowledged within one of the music industry's most influential publications. It came from the mind that, according to the original framing of the story, stood behind what ultimately made Into the Sun what it became. His name was not included in the official credits. Yet the existence of a fact does not depend upon whether it appears in a credit list. The account provided by Diplo through Billboard, supported by the professional authority and credibility associated with his career, states that Park Jimin made Into the Sun completely perfect. That statement now exists as part of the discussion surrounding who he is, what he contributes, and why music carrying his influence connects with listeners the way it does. Jimin was described as the inspiration. Jimin was presented as the element that completed the song. Jimin was identified as the reason it reached the state Diplo called completely perfect. That is what Diplo said. And that is the account now available to everyone. If this story gave you a deeper understanding of Jimin's artistic contributions, share your thoughts and continue the conversation about the creative forces behind the music people love. Every perspective adds to the ongoing discussion about artistry, collaboration, and the stories behind great songs.